welcome to the sewing guide for the Nikki Pastorfield Madalynne collection. This guide is going to walk you through how we sew the samples for this collection, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to sew them this way. Many times when you get your DIY kits, it's a couple months, maybe a year, that you go to make it and you're like, wait a second, how did she add that chain? What fabrics did she use where? What patterns did she use? So I'm going to walk you through all of that so that you can sew up these samples easily. This sewing guide is going to assume that you have bra making or DIY lingerie knowledge. It's not going to be a full sew along. I'm going to quickly walk through the steps. If you have any questions about the particular patterns, please check out those instructions. Before we get into any pattern alterations, any variations, I think that it's very helpful to see the finished product. So let's go through them. The first one is the Ray Underwire bra. We had two variations of it, but the DIY kits can be used to make either one. So one is the Ray Underwire bra, just as is. We had this chain detail swooping from bra cup to bra cup. We also had this chain detail on the strap elastic. Same kit can be used to make the Ray Underwire bra, which is from Madalynne's book, So Lingerie, which you can purchase on our website or on Amazon. Now this one uses the Godiva frame pieces. So the Ray Underwire bra and the Godiva bodysuit use the same bra cup pattern pieces, but for this one we use the frame, and the center front frame and the side front frame of the Godiva bodysuit. The Godiva bodysuit in the book is backless, but if you look at the sew along, I show you how to draft the back band, which basically is drafted from the back band of the Ray Underwire bra. On this one, we also had that swoop with the chain detail, and we also had the chain detail on the strap elastic. In the DIY kits, I like to give variations and also options so that you don't necessarily have to make the Ray Underwire bra. Maybe you want to make another bra maker's pattern. But we did use the DIY kit for the Ray Underwire bra and the Godiva bodysuit variation. Now let's see the panties. So we had two panties. We had the Noel, which just had this U cut out, as well as the swoop U chain, I don't know what to call it, as well as this really fun thong variation of the Karlie bikini bottom. It had the chain on the sides. Let's start off with the easiest variation, which in my opinion is the Noel panty. Now this is the Noel panty sewn up as is, no pattern alterations. We added a waistband on the top edge, and then before adding the waistband, we did this U cut out. This U cut out measures 2 inches down and about 2 inches wide. Finished it with fold over elastic, really easy. And then we added the chain by just using a velvet ribbon. You can use narrow fold over elastic, you can use a tape, anything to just go through the openings of the chain you can use. Next up is this mashup of the Karlie string bikini bottom as well as the Tanika thong. First thing I want to call out is that on the panty we have this chain detail. Now on the bra we had the same chain detail, but we had a strap elastic behind it. The reason why we used just the chain on the thong is because we wanted something that was super sexy, but I want to call out that this is not 14 karat gold, that there cannot be a lot of tension on this. So if you're really hippie, you want to make sure to add just a little bit of ease to when you sew it on, because if not, you might break it. Again, this isn't like 14 karat gold. This is definitely like costume jewelry quality. So how did we get the pattern of this? Really easy is that we just basically used the front pattern piece of the Karlie string bikini, as is. Then to get the thong back, what we did is we used the Tanika thong back pattern, and we laid the Karlie over it. Now, I've already cut this down, but we laid the Tanika underneath the Karlie or over the Karlie string bikini and use that same kind of shape to get the shape of the new thong back pattern. So you're gonna use the Tanika thong back to reshape the back pattern piece of the Karlie to get that thong. Now, I also used the Tanika as a reference for how wide I needed that panty to be, meaning that the Tanika, let's just say I had a medium. When I went to sew it up, I wanted to make sure that this length matched the length of the Tanika. So if my Tanika at the waistline measures 13 inches, I wanted to make sure that this also measured 13 inches. To sew this variation, attach the front panty to the back panty, sew the photo elastic on either ends, as well as the waistlines on the front and back. And then on each ends, we left the photo elastic. We had like little tails, and that is what you are gonna wrap your chain detail around. Now you can make this longer if you want to, if you need to make your waistline a little bit bigger. But once you have all of this together, what you will do is you will feed the elastics through and then sew it down just like you would in a strap elastic. Now let's move on to the most complicated variation, which is the bra. So we had the chain detail here as well as the straps. First, let's go over the chain detail on the bra cups. So I've sewn the bra. I've attached the channeling on the vertical seam lines. I've attached the first pass of the channeling on the wire seam line, not the second pass, because we are going to insert the chain detail, pin it in place, then sew the second pass. So I am using a velvet ribbon. You can use a black twill tape. You can use the narrow fold over elastic, really just anything that fits through the ends of the chain detail. And I'm gonna feed that through the end, and then I am going to fold that back. I'm gonna give myself about 3/4 of an inch there. And it's okay if it's smaller too. You don't have to have a 3/4 inch ribbon or elastic because once it's in place, it's not really functional, so it's okay if it hangs, in my opinion. I'm gonna cut that down like that, and I'm gonna pin those two or that ribbon together. Do it on the other side. And then you're really gonna eyeball where you want it to lay. Do you want it to be more of like a swoop like that, lay lower, or maybe you want it to be a little bit wider? It really depends on how you want it to look. So I'm going to, and when we were sewing this, we didn't really use any measurement. We just kind of eyeballed it as far as like where we wanted it to be. So I'm gonna put it about right here. I'm gonna have it really close to that channeling so that when I sew that second pass, it's really like butting up against it. And then here, I think the biggest thing is just making sure that it is symmetrical from side to side, because you definitely don't want it to be up here on one side and then down there on the other side. Okay, so once it's pinned in place, I'm gonna fold back that channeling and I'm gonna sew the second pass, encasing those ribbons that are holding the chain detail. After you've attached the chain detail, you can go ahead and sew the fold over elastic along the bottom edge as well as the top edge into the strap points. And then I will demonstrate how to sew the chain detail on the straps. Chain has been added to the center front. I'll give you a little closer look at that. And I also sewed the photo elastic on the bottom edge and the underarm. Next is to attach the chain detail at the strap points. So I have one side that's already complete, and then I'll demo the other side. So first thing is to wrap the ring around the strap point. Really easy. Let's wrap it around, feed it through that elastic, fold it back, and then you're going to stitch it down right next to that ring. Then you will take your strap elastic, and I cut it so that there's about 1/2 inch, so that the strap elastic is about 1 inch longer than the chain. 1/2 inch on one side, 1/2 inch on the other side. That will allow it to feed it through and for you to fold it back and there to be enough room for you to stitch it down. Now, if you look here, this might look like a mistake that this chain is like hanging like this, but we actually did that intentionally because when you wear it, there's a little bit of tension, it's gonna stretch out. And when you do it, it will lay flat. It's just caught on a picot, yeah. So when you put the bra on and you wear it, it's gonna have a little bit of tension, it's gonna stretch out. So you want that chain to be a little bit like loose when it's laying flat, but when it's on body, it's gonna tighten and straighten out. If you didn't do this, when you put it on, you might break that chain detail. So once you have your strap elastic cut, you're gonna feed the end of the strap elastic through the ends of the chain, fold it back 1/2 inch. And then you're gonna do it on the other side too. And then on one side, you're also gonna feed it through the strap elastic on the bra. Now the key to this, to getting it to stay in place, is that when you sew it down, so when you go to sew it down, you're actually gonna fold this out and sew right here. That is gonna keep that chain in place. And you're also going to add the ring on this side too. Forgot to do that. So this is what it will look like when you fold the ring through the strap elastic, but when you go to sew it, you're gonna fold this out of the way and stitch it down right here. I'll show you a finished example. So if you see here, if I fold this back, you will see the stitching is right there. That'll prevent the chain from slipping down. So once you have that sewn on, then you will take your other strap elastic, assemble it with the slider just as normal, and then you will feed it through the ring, and then feed it through the slider just as you would any other strap elastic. And then once you do that, then you can attach it to the bra. And then finish your Ray / Godiva.